Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Entrepreneurship Hour, Entrepreneurship 407. Today I'm really excited. We have all the way from South Korea, Dr. Myun Lee, who is both an alumnus of the University of Michigan and the father of a current student, Sang Lee, who's here with us today. I want to welcome them and introduce briefly Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee was, after leaving the University of Michigan and returning to South Korea, Seoul National University, the youngest ever chair of a department in the College of Engineering at Seoul National University at age 25. And if you can imagine, by any standard, that's quite an achievement. And as we talked about it, maybe particularly in that part of the world where such credence is given to your senior individuals. And so it's a real achievement he was able to do that. And then he went on to write a best-selling book called Theory W that gained the attention of not just one, but two presidential candidates. At the time, there was a presidential election, and he became an advisor to the president-elect and went on to create not just a few, but many products, as many as 50 different products, approximately 50% of which entered the marketplace successfully. So this is a serial entrepreneur in a really globally integrated space, an engineer, a product developer. And the last thing I would say, he's also formerly a bodybuilder. Not too bad. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Lee.
Thank you, David. You're very kind. Hi, how are you? I first came to Ann Arbor in '68. So, to most of you, I'm a caveman coming home straight from the Stone Age. And in fact, I lived in Stone Drive in Northwood. So. Friendly talk from alumni from Stone Age. And I was living in Stanley House, and in one summer, they had to shut down for maintenance. So I lived in a sublet apartment in Central Campus. And I shared the apartment with an African-American guy. And I learned braiding culture from him. And he was spending lots of money, wouldn't mind sitting 10, 12 hours straight for his quality braiding. So I said, somebody really should invent a hair braiding machine. And he said yes. And that was it. We never mentioned it again. And 30 years later, I invited the director of the patent administration. And he said, human hair cannot be braided by machine. And remembering something, I asked him why. And he said, machine braids, and once it tangled, the machine would pull out the hair, so it's almost impossible to braid by machine. So after the seminar, I and my graduate students decided to start a venture company. And our first product was hair braiding machine. That was a bad decision. It took 5 years to realize, but it's in the market. A unique product for hair braiding human hair. It took 5 hours for her. A double extension braiding. When she sat down, her braid would fall down on her knees. And the machine looks like something like this. And one led to another. European hairstylists came to me and protested that they need something Caucasian. So they were talking about multi-strand hair twisting machine. So we responded. Whenever I hear that sound, it sounds like my money is just going away from me. And hair clinic people came to me and protested that they need something for nanograft hair extension. They said 75% of male, 50% of female experience severe hair loss before 60. And they said, you should do something about it. I tried to avoid that demand, but somehow.
Place the overlapped hair and extension between the heat pads and pull the trigger to close the grip. Overlay the hair in the middle of the extension. Use Extend Magic Tip to heat the side of adhesion on the pre-bonded extension in order to bond it to the hair.
And she's 26, has genetic hair loss problem, and with our machine, plus 3 hours, she looks like this. And, she can scratch her hair, pull her hair, enjoy sports, sauna, everything. And it stays there 4 months. And this is fresh from the oven. Somebody convinced me that I should develop eyelash extension machine. You're the one of the few who ever said this. We're going to introduce it at this coming Bologna Beauty Show in April. So you're the early bird. Manual extension, I don't know whether you're familiar with this. Manual extension takes about 2 hours, and that machine finishes within 5 minutes. So it saves time, stays there for 3-4 months. Other than this, as David informed you earlier, I developed about 50 high-touch products. High-touch meaning ergonomic design, user-friendly, value-added, aesthetic product. And among this, some of them were covered in the media, and 6 of them were cited as a hit product of the year. The definition of hit product is if the product make more than $50 million in the first 12 months period, then they gave me a piece of paper saying this guy invented this, and they invite me to a dinner. And they ask me lots of silly questions, so I don't have the time to eat. So, I invented the robotic cleaning machine in 1990, and Koreans are afraid because American, Japanese manufacturer didn't make this. Something must be wrong with it. If it were that good, they should have made it. But since they didn't make it, they're not going to make it. So that was the biggest hit in the whole global market in 2004. So if you've been accustomed to following others, even if you have a good idea, you are afraid. So in that sense, with these hit products, venture products, I decided to share the hard-earned knowledge from the field. And I wrote a book called Theory W. And Theory W emphasizes 3 things. Discard the transient. I'm emphasizing the importance of paradigm and paradigm shift. Disregard the visible, meaning you better be creative, whatever you do. Renounce the rapid. If you're just following technical details. You'll be busy, but you'll be going nowhere. So stay cool, set up your long-term vision, and stay with it. And this book, perhaps, if you want to become an entrepreneur in global level, perhaps you should keep that in mind as an entrepreneur's code of conduct. Just don't jump into any details, small things. If it fits to these three principles, perhaps you'll give a thought. Otherwise, whatever you do, you'll end up locally rich merchant. Just you need to look at these principles once in a while. And when time to talk about our first jaywalking paradigm, I was in town last July, and whenever I'm in town, I tend to visit my mentor, show him the latest product I developed. And after hearing my explanation, he usually gives me B+ or A-. And we discuss a few more things. And last July, when I visited his office, I think on that day, Detroit City declared default. So I told him it's a paradigm shift. Detroit couldn't resist. Paradigm shift is like tsunami. It washes away everything if you don't make a paradigm shift. And I told him that maybe U of M is partly responsible for letting this thing happen. You know, you're staying right beside Detroit. How could you be so cool? You know, so you could have reached out a helping hand. And he said, maybe you should talk to David. He's running a good class, and there are many smart students there. You should talk to them. So that's how it happened. So you have my excuse. I didn't volunteer this. They asked me to. So no hard feeling on me, you know. So if I have to explain, old Detroit looks like this. They just blindfolded horse, meaning don't look, just keep running, and we'll be the winner. And having so many prosperity, so many success case stories, horse get somewhat bored, so they decided to make a united harness horse races. And this jockey, they decided to make a club and visit equestrian park and ask for subsidy because they were having financial trouble. That's how the Detroit paradigm was being shifted very rapidly. Few recognized it, or few insisted in keeping the paradigm. So the new paradigm should look something like this. It looks like a similar horse, similar jockeys, but the nature of the game is totally different. The horse has to look around constantly. Rider and horse has to be very, understand each other. And you have to not only run fast, but you need to learn how to make a stop, how to make a side step, wait 3 times, and move. So here, effort, speed, productivity matters. Here, strategy, network, cooperation matters. They are the different winning factors. And the outcome of this new paradigm will be IPR, protocol setting, standardization. So if you're successful in this, money will flowing in while you're sleeping. In this paradigm, you have to work very hard to collect some money. So we need to make a shift from here to here. And as I see it, Detroit has the one unique advantage that other big cities doesn't have is Detroit has a brain hub in the nearby city, Ann Arbor, and they should utilize that brain power as much as possible. So given that Detroit and U of M is committed to make a revitalization of Detroit, it is the best in the world to invest real estate because the city is experiencing the exact opposite of subprime crisis. Everything is underestimated. Everything is cheap. So if you guys commit something, if you plan to do something, start it now, as of today. And if you will, buy some land because you're going to be rich out of that. So that's the paradigm. So paradigm is important. And I have personal advice. When you decide your job, when you decide your venture product, here's a simple rule. Just look at, if you're interested in something, just find out when was it first established. The average cycle of industrial paradigm is 30 years. So if you find it has been studied some 15 years ago, just don't bother. It's not worth it. By the time you get familiar with it, that paradigm will be washed away from the screen. So 30 years minus number of years it has been in the market. Simple rule. In most cases, that will give you a good guiding principle. And that's paradigm shift. And time to stroll our second street, creativity. And I wrote a book, Theory W, which became an immediate #1 bestseller in the nation for 15 weeks. And later, publisher told me that he sent me over $2 million in the first 4 months period. And if that happened, people start think of funny things. They think I'm a smart guy. They think I'm creative, which is far from the fact. But since they keep asking me silly questions, how were you creative when you were primary school students? I was not. What were you dreaming during your college days? Are you kidding me? I was busy with homework, No time to worry about creativity. But since they keep asking me questions, I decided to spend some time. And I found out I made the operational definition of creativity. Hear this. See how you like it. At least in the engineering and business area, creativity is a very simple matter. It is a composition made of 2 abilities. First is ability to identify implicit need. Second is ability to supply identified needs. How do you like it? It's simple, isn't it? It's very hard to explain creativity. So if you come to that simple definition, things become somewhat easier. Because Bill Gates was the one who identified implicit need, and Paul Allen was the guy who supplied Bill Gates' demand. So ability to identify, this guy is a daydreamer. Ability to apply, this guy is a handyman. So Bill Gates, Paul Allen, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Jerry Young, David Feiler, it fits into this formula. And if you become somewhat prosperous, somewhat successful, then third party joins in. Ability to promote the supplied things. And this guy, I named him Mr. Dosmel. So daydreamer, handyman, Dosmel. It makes a trio to become creative. So I'll give you good news. Many books, many mentors emphasize creativity in entrepreneurship, and I'll give you a break. Don't listen to them. Look at this. It takes at least 3 people: daydreamer, handyman, doorsman. So what happens if you're not one of these? And I have a solution to it. You are not any of this, then you still have a hope, because learn how to identify these people. If you can identify daydreamer, handyman, doorsman, ahead of others, hey, you will be the manager of these creative guys. You will be a whole lot better off. So I felt that makes sense, so I went one step further, and this is road to creativity. Talent, this is the thing that you should start during your toddler years, 3 years, 4 years. Creativity is a thing that you start very early. And if and only if you start it here, then having this recognition, sense of achievements, motivation, perhaps during primary school, you'll be in a mood to pursue these things. And having this in high school, you'll be doing these kind of things. In college, you are here. And after this, it's a very tightly designed process. You cannot jump from here to here directly. You have to follow this. You have to pay tolls. It takes some time. And if you only went through all these toll gates, then perhaps you'll meet a roadhouse called invention, and people will call you inventor. But my advice is stay away from inventor. You know why? Most inventors die poor. Entrepreneurs live rich. So why stay inventor? It'll ruin your life. So roadhouse, and after that, there are many more rest areas. What do you mean rest area? When do you drop in rest area, it implies you have a long way to go, right? If you're close to your home, you don't go to rest area. You directly go to your house. So this road to creativity is a tedious process. It takes time, and you have to pay dues. And if you reach here, some people will start calling you have a creative mind. So knowing this, what's in it for you? You might think that I'm trying to discourage you, to forget it, you're not going to get it, things like that. No. Use this chart to evaluate your potential creativity. And if you have more than 5 check marks, then chances are you'll become creative. If you're not, you have a better way to use this. Use this chart in evaluating your colleagues, your potential partners, your mentors' creative capability. And using this, you will be ahead of others in identifying creative people. And if you can identify creative people ahead of others, you're all set. It's even better than creative people itself. So that's creativity. So in a first jaywalking paradigm, I gave you, I think it's good news to you. Detroit is the best place to start with. Don't look east, don't look west. East, they had an industrial complex called Route 128. They've been responsible in the digital revolution, but hey, that's old paradigm. If you look at West Coast, they seem very active with the telecommunication revolution, social network service revolution. But according to my estimation, they have about 5 years of remaining life. After that, it'll become an old paradigm. Detroit, it's absolutely blank, totally barren. So this is the best place to start a new paradigm, new venture, new entrepreneurship. So last time, my last journey to jaywalking is a vision. People ask me, what was your vision? And people would ask you, what is your vision? And if they ask you to explain your vision, just say no. You know why? I've been analyzing it. I'm very confident in my theory that most impressive vision statements of legendary leaders were made in retrospect. They didn't have that vision. Can you imagine Bill Gates explaining his vision like, I'm going to go to Harvard, and within a year, I'll drop out. I'll start a company called Microsoft. My first product will be window. No, not that window in the house. Different window. You cannot open it. There's no glass in it. Oh, forget it. You'll see it later. Can you imagine that kind of things? When you become successful, journalists, interviewer, even professors in business school, all get together, collect every details of what you have done, and they analyze, beat to death, come up with your grandiose vision. So don't worry about vision, but since you'll be meeting scouts, interview, or you may have to present your material to potential angels or sponsor group. So even before you become successful, somehow you may need a good vision statements. Just hear this. I'll give you a model solution today. I think Statue of Liberty is a good testament of a vision. I came up with the necessary condition and the sufficient condition of a vision. Necessary condition is this. The foundation of statue is a spirit. If you don't have a spirit, you're not going to be an entrepreneur. And above the spirit, you need to define scope. Are you trying to follow Fortune 500, or are you going to follow Ann Arbor News figures? Just think about it. And status, and mission, target, achievement, and contribution. These are the seemingly different substances combined together, and if you just keep banging it, make it rotate it in a speedy way, it becomes a ray of vision, which sounds really impressive. And what is the sufficient condition of a vision? I've been thinking about this over 10 years. I've been writing down more than 200 candidate phrases. None of them satisfied me. But one afternoon, I accidentally came up with this slogan, and I was extremely happy with it. Whatever that is, it makes your heart skip a bit, right? You're not in a mood to respond me, right? When you go out on a date, listen to your heartbeat. You're going out on a date and your heartbeat is very stable, normal, almost similar to sleeping mode, then your date is an old paradigm. Perhaps think about some creative efforts. Come up with a new visionary statements, find a new date. That's the general idea. So vision, no complicated thing. from now on, whenever people start talking about vision, remember three things. Statue of Liberty. This guy had some 7 entities into it. Remember, Rainbow Coalition, seemingly different, put together into one statement. And sufficient condition is it makes your heart beat faster. And having this, I decided to go one step further. You know, having these different types of creative efforts, like daydreamer, handyman, doorman, I began to wonder, you know, maybe we could classify leaders into different categories. And I used to visit South Pacific Island 13 years in a row. I had to visit every year, stay there 1 month, mainly for sun tanning. I don't do anything, just lie down. And in South Pacific Island, they have a folklore, folk drama, folk dance, and in their drama, 3 types of heroes make the plays. One is destroyer. Second guy is creator. Third one is protector. And I was confused because when destroyer appears in the center stage, they react, you know, passionately. They welcome him, yelling, shouting, clapping. So I asked a local friend, hey, he's a destroyer. You should say boo. What's happening? And he said, you know, he destroys everything. So I couldn't understand. I was exposed to American cartoon culture and Hollywood culture that who are our heroes? Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, right? What they do? They beat destroyers and protect the society. So why this guy is welcoming a destroyer that much? And I couldn't understand it. 3-4 years later, I was lying down at the beach. I was listening to the radio. I was half listening. And the disc jockey said, the title of the song is Abraham, Martin, and John. And I was listening to it, and all of a sudden I become to understand, wow, now I see what they mean. You know, Abraham was a destroyer, come to think of it. He destroyed slavery system, provided the foundation of industrialized nation so that America can enjoy the global leadership in 20th centuries. Martin was a destroyer. He was an eloquent speaker. He was a reverend. He was a gentleman. All he did is marching whenever he was frustrated. He used to march rather long way from Atlanta to Washington. But he was a destroyer. I almost can imagine somewhere in his hidden drawer, he could have a memo for his next speech, which goes something like, I have a dream. In 50 years, we'll have black president in the White House, walking hand in hand with his white secretaries. Don't you hear that speech? And I started collecting legendary heroes and see if you can classify these heroes into 3 categories: destroyer, creator, protector. I think he was a creator. He didn't mean to destroy anything, but when he introduced Windows system, lots of companies had to go out from the market. He didn't mean to destroy any of the cellular phone companies, but with this iPhone, other companies disappeared from the market. And destroyer, creator. I think he was a protector. I think Jack Welch was a protector. He destroyed by firing 150,000 employees in one day. But basically, he was trying to protect General Electric. Reagan was a destroyer to provide Silicon Valley nowadays. So I've been, I talked about paradigm, creativity, and vision. And I think it's about time, if you're in a mood, think about this. Time to worry about entrepreneur's cube. Six-sided, you can fill in with things I explained today. Paradigm, creativity, vision, disregard, discard, renounce, spirit, vision tower. Here, 3 types of visionary leaders. So let them play with this entrepreneur's cube. And people in East and people in West will be equally confused with the vague concept, entrepreneurship. If you can come up with this kind of thing, we could make a startup before this semester end. And perhaps some of you will become rich. Those parents who want their children creative and want to become a leader, this is a must. They have to buy it. We're going to practice dual price system, in-state price for people like you, and out-of-state price for other people outside Ann Arbor. And if you become successful, make sure to spare a buck for David and I. David has to feed a large family. He's expecting new children pretty soon. And I'm getting old. I have to make reservation to Silvertown. They ask me upfront money, which is ridiculously large. So you have my friendly suggestion. I want you to be successful. You've been very kind. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry about your wife. His wife is pregnant. Let's give him a big hand. You know, she's blessed. Blessing from 400 guys.
So I mean, I want to ask you 1 or 2 quick questions if you have a moment. Much of your entrepreneur success has its genesis in a location, which is Korea. Mm-hmm. But it has an impact far beyond Korea. And you're here in Michigan talking about Detroit. So why is it you're thinking about Detroit and sort of the impact, this global impact? What's so important about that in your mind?
It's almost natural to think that way because in Korea, if I say something, they don't listen. I'm on a blacklist. I'm a funny guy, big mouth. And my venture product, I don't sell it in Korea because it's really tough. It's a whole lot better to sell it in foreign countries. But I have an advantage of looking far from Detroit. And I can grab things. And I can see how paradigms being shifted, you know, from North Carolina Research Triangle, then Golden Belt, Michigan, Big 3, then moved to New York, Poughkeepsie, then Boston, then Pacific. So you look at this big chessboard, how things are moving. And I think Detroit is in a critical moment, whether they go out of business for good or they just come back born again, you know, metro city. And U of M and people like you, I want you to give a thought because it's, you guys don't know how lucky you are, you know. By the time you are taking this course, Detroit, made place for your entrepreneurship.
So when you see Detroit, you see opportunity. And when you see the students in this class, you see opportunity. Can you share with us a little bit about sort of your vision for what the students in this class could do relative to the city of Detroit and beyond?
I think practically, you are in the middle of bonanza. I'll explain about this potential of this class. There are 400 guys, David says. Enrollment is over 400. And try to find out what kind of potential entrepreneurs you have in your class. And look around, try to analyze the guys sitting beside you, the girls sitting behind you. Are they daydreamer or handyman? Try to make a virtual connection, network, and just keep doing that. You don't know how big a project you are doing. And another point is, if you get together and think about something during your college days, student days, then it's a friend. Once after you graduate and meet people in society, then it's a contract. There's a whole lot of difference. So make connections as much as possible. In this class, it's almost ideal. 400 potential entrepreneurs share the same place once a week. All you need to do is don't think, don't worry about anything. Learn their names, call their names, first name basis, at least once a week, and you're all set. Don't worry about it. Remember my case, a very casual chatting with a roommate led me to a venture company, to a series of one-of-a-kind product in the global market. Some of them are very famous. They consider it top brand. And eyelash extension is a consequence of this hair braiding argument in a sublet apartment. What more can you expect?
So you're saying a couple of things that almost feel surprising, if not contradictory. For example, you've created over 50 different products, tangible products, yet the advice you're giving to us is look at the people around you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so there's something about the importance of the human network and the human experience to being an entrepreneur that goes beyond just the technical, which we saw up there in that graph about the inventor.
Yeah. I'll give you one good example why you people are important right now. When you exchange ideas, they don't ask you upfront money. It's freebies. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I have a better idea. You exchange. You're a lawyer by nature. And what would you request? If someone has some ideas, what is your advice?
Well, I mean, before you say anything more, do you mind if we sign the contract?
Sure. NDA, non-disclosure agreement. And if legal suit case matters, where will you settle this problem? It's a totally different. Here, it's a paradise. And you don't know how good opportunity you are living in. Talk to David. You know what his biggest advantage? He's been here for so long. Perhaps he knows 2,000 names. Cannot estimate how rich he is, provided that you know how to utilize that capability for the creation.
So this combination of humans and idea creation and the free flow of ideas. Yeah. I want to give a few moments for the free flow of ideas here. If we could have the lights up, we'll entertain a couple questions.
I'm wondering which of the three roles you've played on the teams that you've created products with, and how you found the other role players on your teams.
In my case, I learned it hard way by trial and error. My attitude being, I don't even know whom I'm looking for, just meet people. And by trial and error, setback, pitfalls. It takes long, but I didn't have any other way resort to it. I don't have a big budget to hire marketing firms, advertisement firms. So mainly what I did is going out global exhibition, meet all kinds of people in person, remember their names, and maintain a good communication with them. And chances are, if you meet 100 people, perhaps you're formulating a good business relationship, I would say 2 or 3. That's the percentage. So that's what I'm telling them. They don't know how good situation in this room. If they exchange things, they'll tend to keep their promise. They'll tend to be faithful. They'll try their best. Once they leave 1 foot from here, outside from this room, hey, it's a different, different world. So,
Dr. Lee, we appreciate you coming all the way from Korea to
my pleasure.
Michigan.
My pleasure.
Thank you for returning.
Thank you.